Squier Stratocasters are really popular beginner instruments, and today I'm going to be comparing three of them: the Bullet, the Affinity and the Classic Vibe, and seeing which one is best for whom, and also giving you some tips on what to think about when buying an affordable guitar. Hello and welcome to another video with me, Elmo J. Karilainen, and it's good to have you along. You can call me this guy if my name is tricky to pronounce. Today I'm comparing three Strats: the Squier Bullet Stratocaster, the Squier Affinity Strat, and the Squier Classic Vibe. Now, the Bullet is just over 100 euros here in Europe, the Affinity is roughly 200 euros here in Europe, and the Classic Vibe is just over 350 euros. So there is quite a big difference between, let's say, the Classic Vibe and the Bullet Strat, at least in terms of price. Before I get to comparing these three guitars, I want to kind of give you a couple of tips on what to think about when buying a cheap guitar, because there can be a few things. So first I'm gonna just talk about them in terms of how they look, and then I'm gonna play them and give you my impressions on how they feel and how they sound, and then I'm going to give you, along the way, I'm going to give you a few tips on what to think about in terms of when you buy an affordable guitar, because there are a few things to keep in mind that maybe apply more to cheap guitars than to slightly more expensive ones. So let's get going. In terms of looks and parts and all that, the Bullet and the Affinity are very similar. The wood of the neck looks pretty pale on both, pretty much the same type of thing. Tuners look identical, parts look mostly identical. The pieces of the tremolo bar or the blocks are different, so the tremolos are different. I suspect the quality is a bit better in the Affinity tremolo. One thing that I've noticed about the Bullet Strat, this one, is that the frets are, they have a bunch of resistance going on, which is really weird. So when you do vibrato, you get this kind of, I don't know if you can hear that sound. Especially not now, since someone's sawing something outside. But there is a kind of resistance going on, which isn't there as much on the Affinity Strat. But they weigh approximately the same amount. They look pretty much the same. The Affinity has the larger headstock. One thing that I did notice is, or a couple of things really. The trem arm on the Affinity is black. Sorry, the Bullet is black, which doesn't matter really, but it says something about their attention to detail when it comes to putting this instrument together. Same thing, that had this plastic covering here, which was partly they hadn't managed to fit that on properly, which is, it's not a big deal, but it's funny. One thing that could potentially be a bit of a deal is that the screws back here the holes have been drilled slightly too far apart, so the screws do a bit of this from the plate here into the wood. You probably can't see that. Let's see if I can do a close-up. I don't know if it's evident on camera, but it's not a biggie. But there is a bit of a, I don't know what you call it, a V thing going on with the screws, which potentially might be an issue. If you have to screw in the screws a bit more, that could be a bit of a problem. But other than that, the Affinity and the Bullet look very much the same. And then you have the Classic Vibe, where the finish looks way better. The neck looks better, feels better. The parts are clearly, the tuners are different. The tremolo arm looks more quality, so there is a difference there, definitely. But then again, this is basically 3 times the price of the Bullet Strat, so there should be a bit of a difference. So let's plug these in and see how they sound compared to each other. So what I'll be doing is I'll just play a few quick sounds. I have an overdrive pedal, I have a Marshall Plexi, clean, don't really have a clean sound. So there's breakup going on even at clean settings. Then I have a slightly overdriven sound from the pedal. And a more overdriven sound, but we'll get into that. Yeah, so I'll just play a few sounds from these and talk about how they feel. First off, the Bullet Strat. Okay, so before I get over to the Affinity Strat, this does feel quite cheap. It's not very fun to play. I seem to like it more when I did the review. I have reviews of all of these separately, so you can check out the description. There are links below and in the comments as well. But I seem to like it more when I was doing the actual review of this guitar. It just feels kind of cheap and crummy, to be honest. One thing that you should look out for when buying an affordable guitar is, first of all, try to go to the actual shop to look at it, because they can have huge differences in quality from one guitar to another. So the quality can vary, and I think it does it much more in cheap instruments than in more expensive ones. You can get very good cheap guitars, and you can get really terrible cheap guitars. So go check them out, try them out, even if you only play a couple of chords. Try to check out how it feels. Do you like the look of it? Do you like the feel of it? Are the fret ends sticking out? If they are, that's not a huge problem. All three of these had fret issues, and I had to file down the fret edges because you could basically cut yourself. So it's not a big deal, but you have to get some sort of cheap file to do that, and it's really just a bother. And if you're a beginner, maybe you don't want to be doing that kind of stuff. Okay, so next one is the Affinity. So is this better than the Bullet Strat? Okay, that was the Affinity Strat. And then we have the Classic Vibe. Before I get going with this, the Affinity, the neck has had a bit of a life of its own as well, so you would need to adjust the neck, and I actually tried doing that. The problem was that I couldn't do it. I couldn't fit the Allen wrench into the hole here because I don't know why. I tried it on this and I tried it on the bullets and it's fine, but just couldn't get it to fit in. Yeah, I don't know what the problem was. My phone's saying something. I don't know what the problem was. Probably me. Maybe. I hope it was me, because otherwise that guitar is... Yeah, well, let's get on with it. I'm no huge expert on setting up guitars. I can do it. I'm fairly happy with most guitars, the way they are, the ones that I have, both expensive and inexpensive ones. But that one was, the frets were too close, so and that was due to the neck being bent a bit, so I would have had to set that up a bit better. But straight out of the gate, when I picked this one up, the Classic Vibe, it feels way better than the other two. I don't know how much that is between my ears in the mind playing tricks on me, but how much is it down to actually feeling better, and how much is it my mind telling me it must be so much better because it costs so much more and it looks so much better? I don't know. But here's what it sounds like. Yeah, what do I say? This one is clearly the pick of the bunch, but it's much more expensive than the other two. So, which one should you get? Well, basically, what I think doesn't really matter. You should get whichever one you prefer, and especially if you can try them out in the shop, that's the way to go. But regardless of guitar brand, I think it would be best to check out some second-hand ones, especially if you can return them if you're not happy. If the shop has a second-hand one, check that out. If you're comfortable using eBay, that's a great place to get second-hand instruments, and why not new ones as well. but you can get a guitar that's as good as the Classic Vibe for much less than the Classic Vibe. I got 91 Squier Strat made in Korea, which was great. It needed some work done, but it was instantly a much better instrument than the Affinity, and it cost the same amount of money as the Affinity. Now, the thing to keep in mind is if you're buying your first guitar, or yeah, well, if you're buying an affordable guitar, is will you have any use for the guitar down the line? So let's say you're a beginner, you play a year or two. Will you be satisfied with the Squier Bullet Strat? Will you be satisfied with an Affinity? Probably not. You might not be satisfied with this either, but as an instrument, just the neck and the body, you can upgrade this. The Affinity, of course you can upgrade it, but still, it's, I mean, I don't know if I would bother upgrading it. And especially the Bullet with the frets, like, I don't know. With this, you get a set of pickups that are a bit better than the stock ones here, and instantly you're in a totally different ball game because this feels so good, whereas the Affinity doesn't feel very good and the Bullet doesn't either. You can get better pickups for those as well, of course, but chances are they still won't be very enjoyable instruments. So that's basically it. The pick of the bunch, no surprise really for me, is the Classic Vibe. But personally, I would probably not go for this. I might go for a second-hand Classic Vibe. You could save a bit of money, or get something even older and save maybe even a bit more money and get a good instrument that way. So let me know what you think. Leave a comment. If you want to watch more gear reviews, there's a playlist here somewhere. Click like if you liked the video. Click dislike if you disliked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell notification thing. And join me on Patreon. You get all of my music there. I have 5 albums worth, plus an unreleased album that's only available on Patreon. So you can get all of that there, and you can get that for free. Plus, I buy the gear that I review, so you get an honest review. So it all helps, and this was my honest opinion. I might be wrong, but at least I was honest. Yeah, so that's about it. I hope to see you in another one. Take care. Goodbye.